And we're back with TSPN. And as always, one of my favorite co-hosts that I have with me today is our County Assessor, James Rooney. Jim,
hello, sir.
How are you today?
Very good, very good. Very nice weather out there. Huh?
Yeah, good to have you here.
Yeah.
We have a discussion today about a couple items. We'll get into SRA fees, but you want to talk about the, is this the tax rate for the coming year?
Well, next year, the tax rate, it's always 1% property tax.
What is next year? Are we talking about 2014, or are we talking about...
The tax bills that will be, we call it 2013-14, which are the tax bills that will be coming out November of 13 and April of 14.
Okay.
That's when they're...
And people know you pay your taxes in December, so you're talking about the tax bill that will come out initially in November.
Yes, yes. And we've been doing the assessments that will affect those tax bills coming out.
Okay.
And this last year, we noticed there were some areas of the county, there were some substantial increases in values. So some parts of the county are going to go up, but you know, other parts of the county actually went down. So it was a real mixed bag.
There's still areas that are going down out there.
Yeah, there are.
So we're not in the midst of that great recovery that everybody's talking about.
Well, see, the values that we've come up with are as of January 1st, 2013. Mm-hmm. And I think values the past few months have been going up, but those don't affect the property tax assessments that are coming out because it was January of 13. So as of January of 13, we figured that overall throughout the county, property values probably went up about 6%.
Okay.
However, you know, you're in the Ione area, and so am I. Ione took the biggest hit. Ione and Comanche took the...
Price is still going down.
No. Oh. When property values started going down, Ione took the biggest hit.
Okay.
It went down the most. And right now, it's coming up the fastest.
Why did it take me like 5 years to get my property assessed downward? Never mind, we won't get into that.
Prop 13 is
but
what it is.
Ione did take the biggest hit initially.
Yeah.
But then Ione is raising faster than everyone else?
Well, you've been out in the Castle Oaks area, the Castle Oaks and Edgebrook. Boy, hundreds of new houses have been built out
and a lot of comps out there for you, comparable sales.
And what that does is even in the older part of town, when houses are selling in the newer part of town, it affects the older part of town. So we figured that in the Ione area, things went up between 6 and 10%. They went up substantially. However, because of Prop 13, most everybody's assessments are going to just go up to 2%.
Right.
But a few might go up 6 or 8%, but those are the ones that were lowered substantially.
Well, they can't go up 6 or 8%. They can only go up that 2%, right?
Now, the ones that were we reduced, we called it on the Prop 8 status, they were reduced below fair market value. When fair market value goes back up, they can be increased, but not higher than their original Prop 13 value.
Okay.
It's a complicated scenario, but we have those values out, and you know what? They're online right now too. So if people want to look at their assessments, they can do it. And in the not too distant future, they're going to be getting their tax bills, and they can look at those too.
So people need to realize that while they got at a big advantage in a down market because of Prop 8 valuations, they're going to get adversely, they're going to get hit in a good market because Prop 8 no longer applies and the valuations are going to be much higher.
Well, some of the values, and much less than a majority, they will be restored somewhat to their old Prop 13 value. It won't go up higher than their old Prop 13 value, but the ones that were reduced substantially, even in the Comanche area, they'll be brought up sometimes in excess of 2%. So, but most everybody's going to be 2%.
Okay.
So.
It is a complicated scenario. Do you think if people go online it will make it any easier, or can they come into the assessor's office and talk to you or one of your associates?
Oh, shoot. You can always go online, but I got to tell you, it's a complicated situation. Here's the best way to do it. Everybody take a look at their tax bill. If you don't think you could sell your house for what it's assessed at, you should call us up or get online and fill out a review for reassessment. And we will take a look at it. And here's the good thing about it is we will lower the value or we will leave it alone. We're not going to raise them. So you really have nothing to lose. Of course, if you have a value on your tax bill that shows the house is being assessed at $80,000 and you know it's worth $250,000, it's probably not worth the effort.
People need to be reasonable in their assumptions.
Yeah. Whenever you're dealing with the assessor's office, Sometimes people are unreasonable. They'll say their property is worth nothing. Well, everything is worth something. And you know what? We don't take it too serious.
We
If
just
they're
have-
reasonable, we do.
Okay, we have a couple minutes. I want to talk about just quickly.
Sure.
This is going to be the 30-second, 45-second lesson on how to file an appeal.
An appeal.
That's right.
Okay, now here's the important thing. There's two things. One is, the first thing somebody should do if they think their assessment's too high is come to our office and ask for an informal review. We will review it. And a lot of times, we will come to an agreement and say, you know, we agree with you, and we'll lower it. Then you don't have to do the appeal. The appeal is a formal process where you go to the Board of Equalization, which is the Board of Supervisors office, and say, I want to fill out the paperwork. You sign it, and you're appealing your value. At that point, the assessor's office cannot lower the value without the approval of the Board of Equalization.
What are people appealing? Because let's say they get their tax bill this year and they think it's too high.
Yeah.
What is the time frame that they're appealing?
They can appeal until November 30th. They can come in and say, we think our value's too high.
And is this the valuation that was put on in January of 2013?
Yes, which is affecting the tax bill that will be due in just a few weeks after that.
So this is January 1st to March 30th, is that correct?
No, it's January 2nd, no, sorry, it's July 2nd to November 30th.
July 2nd, 2012.
Till 13.
13.
Until November 30th. And an important thing to remember is if you get a notification that your assessment just changed, regardless of those dates, you have 60 days after a notice.
Okay. Just in the little bit of time we have left, there is an article in our paper and online that Frank Bigelow, our assemblyman, and our Senator Barry Hell have on how to file an appeal for SRA fees. And you said you have to file one, Jim.
I'm going to file one, and you know what? I'm going to follow their lead, too. I'm going to
Okay.
file one.
All right, Jim. Well, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you.
Call the assessor if you have questions on your tax bill. And with that, that's all the time we have on TSPN today. And we'll see you next time.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.